this contest set for one fall is for the WWE Championship.
Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
Welcome to Around the Turnbuckle. I'm the Big Albowski. There's my partner in crime, Professor Keith, as always. And no, we do not have a guest tonight, ladies and gentlemen, but this is the 2022 year in review. The professor and I have had one hell of a ride of 2022. A lot has happened our way, brother. How are you feeling?
Tired. I mean, most of you guys that know me, you've talked to me at shows or whatnot now, you know I do, I'm a manager with a retail shipping operation, and this was our last guaranteed ship for Christmas Day, and that is always just some rough stuff. That's why I want to shout out the crew at SWO. I apologize that I could not go yesterday. I missed you all.
They missed you. They asked a lot asked about you.
Well, I appreciate that. That's still something I'm getting used to. The idea that people want me at shows, people care. And no, I mean I'm serious.
Well,
I'm not
cared.
even,
I mean, I was ring announcing. I wanted you there.
But I mean, you know what I mean. Like, you've known me forever. You're used to my quirks and my social awkwardness and all that. It's kind of
you've come a long way since we started this show. I think I think I done kicked you out the door of your shell if you had one.
No, I definitely had one.
We got some comments already, brother. Big Dave Motorman, who was there last night at SWO. Tonight, we gather around the turnbuckle to enjoy a review of an exciting 2022, and we wish to thank Big Al and the professor for the forum, and a special thank you to all who have shared their story.
Oh, absolutely. We have nothing without the guys that have come on here and been generous with their time and their story, and even more so the guys that did it that said, hey, I had a lot of fun here, and then go out and tell their friends and have them, come on with us. I mean, this is not just something that Al and I do. This is really the entire team, the fans, the guests, everybody. We talked about this being collaborative and this being something where kind of everybody has a hand in it, and everybody definitely has a hand in this.
David Hilt, who was there last night as well. Great job last night. Hope you do it again. Thank you very much, David. And by the way, I got late breaking news. I will be there again on Saturday, January 21st as the ring announcer of that show. So SWO will present New Beginnings, or I'm sorry, SWO will present New Heights. I know I said it wrong once or twice last night. SWO presents New Heights, which is a new, fresh start to SWO. Brand new people in charge, Ken Andrews, etc., and brand new directions that they're going with everything. And you guys are going to not want to miss January the 21st. And I will be back in the ring as the ring announcer of that show. January 21st, Saturday in Seven Valley. So thank you, David, for saying that.
How cool is that?
Right.
Like, you're officially in the wrestling business now. How cool is that?
It is an amazing feeling. I mean, it's the same. I know we have a similar feeling, and I don't want to make this whole thing about me today, but I know you and I had a similar feeling when we first started calling 3WA Carnage, and And, we were so excited, like, we're looking at each other and we're like, oh my God, we're calling professional wrestling. And then we called matches involving, Carlito and Chris Masters and Matt Cardona versus Myrick Miami and all these things. And each thing that happens to us as a group, as you and I, as a group, wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for this show. And so it's amazing. It's amazing that just you and I just starting this thing and what it's become a forum for independent wrestlers, local independent wrestlers mostly. I mean, we have had guys from around the country and we have had guys from across the pond, but mostly it's guys from PA and New Jersey and girls come on here and tell their story. And we've got an affiliation with 3WA, and now we have an affiliation now with SWO, and I want to continue to grow that affiliation with the locals, Frontier Pro Wrestling, Smash Masters Wrestling, PPW, the all the New Jersey organizations, and then out there in Harrisburg, CCW and Valor and all those Seven Mountains. Any way that Keith and I can help you guys in any way, promote anything or anything like that, it is an open door to everybody here. AXW, which is coming. Everybody is really pumped up about that locally in Hamburg in January. They're having their first big event January 7th, AXW. And that's got Kevin Kelly involved, and that's got the boys from Outbreak, which used to be Outbreak, and that'd be Ryan Vox and Mean Mark Mest, etc., Jared, etc., Antonio. So everybody's really excited about that around here. So any way we can help with that too. I know Keith and I are not missing that show for our lives. We will be there in Hamburg. We will be there in Hamburg on January the 7th. I know I will be. I don't know about Keith, but I know I will be in Seven Valleys on the 21st of January, ring announcing that show. New Heights.
That is the plan. I think now that we're through everything, and certainly next month should be pretty much a lull in what I do. Yeah. I should be able to get out to shows again. I want to try to get out to some more shows. Some of the people in Jersey, some more of the Pennsylvania stuff and whatnot.
Yeah, Jersey, we definitely got to hit because that's I've neglected Jersey too, and I'm a Jersey boy just like you, but a lot of that stuff is South Jersey and it's down past Philly sometimes, and it's a little rough for you and I to make a show that far away. But I'm sure we can figure it out one of these days when a lot of the Jersey shows there. I know they have shows in Lancaster. I know they have shows in Birdsboro around here. So those are also shows that we can make because they're not that far away. So,
but in the meantime,
we're going to get out to more shows is the point.
Yeah. And in the meantime, I mean, keep posting your stuff, guys. Keep sending us your stuff. We'll help you out with promotion as much as we can. We'll put it on our Facebooks. We'll put it on the
join the Around the Turnbuckle. Yeah, join the Around the Turnbuckle group. You can post anything you want there. It's wide open for anybody to post whatever they want.
Yeah, it's pretty much promote your stuff, get your stuff out there, which is great, and I think that's a great use for it. Get your stuff out there, get it in front of people, because I see so many promoters say it that I'm friends with on Facebook, and they're right. If you do not promote it, if you do not put up flyers, if you do not share it around, if you do not let people know that you exist and you're doing stuff, how the hell are you going to get them out to your show?
True. Program note, folks, Around the Turnbuckle returns live on Sunday, January 8th, with our special guest, Mary Elizabeth. Professor, we had Tommy Vex on last week. Are you excited to talk to Mary? His better half, if I might add.
Yeah, I am. Tommy was a lot of fun. I'm sure Mary's going to be a lot of fun too. Tommy I think is a great example of our growth in terms of doing this, because when we started, I think we were pretty stiff and we kind of had a format and we stuck to the format no matter what. And I think lately we've gotten a lot better about just kind of letting things flow and kind of let's see where the guest takes us and do all that stuff, rather than, you have to fit into this box that we've created and you have to only work within the format. Like, if we had done that, would we know about that great money drawing match that someone needs to book of Tommy Vex versus the Brick Wall? Would that have come up?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to run down the list of the interviews that we had in 2022. I'm going to do it quickly. I'm not going to stop and talk about them, but I'm going to go through the entire list of everyone that we interviewed in 2022. And then I'm going to ask you, Keith, what are some of your recollections or what are some of your favorites that pop out at you? And then when we're done with that, I have a top 5 list of the most viewed. I have the top 5 most viewed episodes of Around the Turnbuckle from 2022. Okay, you ready?
Yep.
Okay, so in 2022, in no particular order, all right? So don't go be like, wait a minute, I was back in January. Why is he reading blah, 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 blah? There's no particular order here. I am just reading a list, okay? So don't be flooding me with comments about where the hell is blah, blah, blah. Okay. So, Tommy Vex, Damon Dante, Mikey Raw, The Wolfman, Donnie Bambino, Nathaniel Cunningham, Rico Hendricks, Merrick Miami, Smooth Tom Mitchell, Miguel Del Barrio. By the way, happy birthday, Miguel Del Barrio. That is his birthday today. So, birthday shout out to Miguel Del Barrio. Hope you have a great happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Miguel.
Absolutely. Shelby Waters, Tarzan Duran, The Dude, Craig Prendergast, Big Dust, JT Cage, but it was the real JT Cage, not the wrestler. It was the real person.
Yeah, not the guy we have on the pre-shows every month.
Yeah, not the pre-show guy, not the ruiner of it all. It was JT Cage, the real person, which we're doing a part 2 of on January 15th, incidentally. Very nice. Okay. Because we didn't, he, by his own admission, we just scratched the surface on that.
Yeah.
Nico Gray, Rose Gold, Cody Rose, Uncle Masty, the Mastodon, Classic Johnny Potter, the Mean Mark Mest, Birthday Bash, Marcus Johnston, Zach Carlucci, General Kiesel, Prince Piranha, Ace Dallas, the Outbreak Aftermath Show, which featured Ryan Vox, Jeff Moyer, Mean Mark Mest, among others. Thundercat Greg Winters, Part 2, was in 2022. Tyler Blaze, Roadblock Chad McCoy, Dog Nation, JT Funk, Part 2, Mongoose, Hillbilly Joe, Scott Alexander, Carolina Jim, Dino Santa, Part 2, Attilio April, Raven Knight, Evan Atlas, and during the during the AT&T Around the Turnbuckle 2-year anniversary show, we had Top Shelf Tyler Sims, Autumn Breeze, and main event Mike Mars. So that's pretty much the list. Now, we also had specials, Professor. We had the 2022 WWE Royal Rumble preview. We had countless, almost once a month. I mean, we didn't do every single month, but almost every month we did a 3WA pre-show the Saturday at noon before the show. All right? So we did several 3WA pre-shows. We did the WWE WrestleMania special. And we did the Around the Turnbuckle 2-year anniversary special. Also, I also noted here what we had. The Bruise Brothers were literally right there, like on the borderline. I'm not exactly sure if they were at the end of December or early January. So I put them in for the 2022. I just threw them in there. So the Bruise Brothers were.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they were this year.
So there you have it. That's pretty much everything that we did in 2022. Oh, Urban Legend.
Urban Legend, yep.
Urban Legend was in there as well.
And you said Chloe Rain, right? We had Chloe Rain too.
Yeah, Chloe Rain was actually December of 2021.
Close enough.
Technically was not in 2022, even though she was giving me crap on social media. All right,
I know, that's sort of why I brought it up. I don't want her mad at both of us.
Thundercat's here. What's up, Thundercat? Greg, I love you guys. We
love you too.
We love you too. Professor,
One of the early adopters.
Would you like to say a few words directly to Thundercat since he's here?
Oh, just put me on the spot, why don't you?
All right, well, no, you don't have to talk to him.
No. Of course I do. I love Greg. Greg is one of the early adopters. He stuck around with us. He keeps doing stuff. He keeps putting us over all the time. Greg's the best.
And he's offering advice to the young talent when they're on,
which is
and I love that.
So helpful. Yep,
and
so helpful.
Please keep that coming, Greg, because they love to talk to you. And we've made you some connections too. I know that Tommy Vex last week asked us for make sure to get your last name right, so he could friend you on Facebook, and you guys could hook up. Tommy Vex, incidentally, and his manager Mary Elizabeth have a new fan, Professor, and your niece Elizabeth.
I saw that.
She begged us to purchase her a Tommy and Mary t-shirt last night, which is a play on Tom and Jerry, but it was pretty funny. It's a pretty funny t-shirt. It's pretty cool.
That is a great shirt.
Send me a request. Good. See, I love those connections that we make on here, man. It's whole part of the deal.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Professor, from that list, and I'll include the shows, the specials in there. Is there any? I'm not going to put you on the spot and tell you what your favorite was, because that's not fair.
Yeah.
But what I want to know from you is there any that pops out that you remember that's very memorable to you when we had that conversation? You were really engaged in it.
Well, the one with JT, I know that. I mean, we've known JT the real JT Cage. We've known JT for quite a while now. I don't know if he wants me to reveal it or not, but he's kind of our producer on Carnage. So whenever I make those little in-jokes about
he absolutely
formats and stuff like that, I'm trying to see if he's paying attention so I can tweak him a little bit. But he has been just one of those absolutely instrumental people to us, and it was so much fun to be able to finally let people see the guy that we know instead of the guy that he promotes when he's in front of the curtain. It was nice to show people the guy he is behind the curtain.
Right.
Ace Dallas was a great interview. I mean, there were no bad interviews. No, there wasn't.
But you off the top hat, man. You just named two great ones right there.
I mean, Ace was good. Catching up with Irvin Legend again is always good. I follow Irvin, and I mean, Irvin is one of those guys that he's getting signed. I really believe next year he's going to be. He
had a match on SmackDown recently. Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Right. So
I think he did. I think he did one on Raw too. He did an enhancement match there, and I know he's got an NWA tryout. I just read today. I mean, somebody's picking him up. There's no way that nobody is going to not pick him up next year. I think next year is his year for that.
Yeah,
I really do.
No doubt. And that's hard work, dedication, and everything that guy's. And Irvin, if you ever do watch this, because I did not tag you in it by your request. I did not tag you, but if you do ever watch this, of course, we wish you nothing but the best of luck in everything that you do. And we hope that you have a safe and happy holiday. And you are welcome back here anytime.
Oh, yeah.
Anytime you want to come on and just chat wrestling with us. I mean, we talk about anything you want. So that's Urban Legend.
I mean, having Wolf and having Mark Mast on is always great because they've been doing it forever. They're fountains of knowledge. If you guys have ever called Inside the Squared Circle, it does not take much to get Wolf to start telling stories or share knowledge, and we are so blessed to have people like that in the business and willing to work with this show. Awesome!
Yes. Just so everyone knows, we finally raised enough for my daughter's surgery. Feeling blessed. Awesome, buddy. That is great news. That is awesome. I wish you and the family the best and happy holiday seasons to you.
Yeah. John,
I don't
been
have a
through
last
that
name for John.
particular
He's like,
surgery.
don't go to AEW. Well, you know, if Urban Legend gets offered an AEW contract, I'm sure he's not going to turn it down. I mean, I wouldn't. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, look, maybe it's not the best situation right now. Maybe it is. Who knows? I mean, certainly that was something we covered this year. The whole CM Punk situation, which I feel like we did a good job
That was
on that.
another special we did. We did a special on that. Yeah, that's one I didn't mention.
Yeah.
And Vince McMahon retiring, we did a special on Vince McMahon
and
retiring.
I really hope the fans were engaged in that. We got some positive feedback during the show. Totally. With that, I hope we can do more things like that when we have major news like that. I mean, Vince retiring was just
I mean, they were you know that I agree with you on most points that when something like that happens in the business, I feel like we should comment on it. And you know, it was easy to just put together a quick thing. When Vince retired, we had to talk about the impact of the business and all that. And then when all that went down with CM Punk, we had to talk about that impact and everything like that. And Andy, what's up, Andy? I see you. Hi, Andy.
Hi, Andy.
So you answered the question I asked you, which was which ones stick out to you. My favorites are always the ones where we have to do less work. Okay, and that sounds selfish. Okay,
it sounds a little lazy, to be honest.
No, it sounds lazy and it sounds selfish. But when we have a guest on, I mean, like I said, just like you, I've loved all of them.
Yeah,
in different ways. But when we have to do less work, when we ask them one question and they just go on a 15-minute tirade, those are my favorites and usually the most entertaining, because if it kind of like sometimes if it kind of gets like they're you know, if it comes out easy, I just let them go. If it sounds like they're straining to try to keep talking, I try to stick a question in there to keep the conversation rolling. But one that sticks out to me is Uncle Masty, the Mastodon.
Oh, yeah.
When we had the Mastodon on here, when we had Uncle Masty on here, we asked Uncle Masty a question, and the Mastodon just went on for 10, 15 minutes at a clip. And that show was over like that.
I tell you, that's and what I love about that is I learn things when people do that. I learn from what they're saying, which I love because I'm a geek for wrestling and I'm a geek for the history of it and all of that stuff.
That watches this show.
But I mean,
geek in the room.
No, but I'm also the guy with the bookshelf full of wrestling books, and then the other couple of bookshelves, and I mean. I devour everything. I like Wolfman will talk about Tubi, and honestly, guys, go get on Tubi if you freaking love wrestling. You love history. There's documentaries. I watched a great Adrian Street documentary a couple days ago where they interviewed him and everything else, and I learned so much about his career. They have old footage of stuff. I mean, I got to watch Gorgeous George matches, for God's sake.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean,
there. I mean, I love it. I love going back and watching all of it. But I don't just learn from the content of what they're saying. I also learn from how they're saying it and what they do. Like Uncle Masky, when you look at that, it's not just what he said or the knowledge he was dropping, which was great and absolutely valuable. But what I learned too is like as a performer, giving a performance, like he's giving you all that great knowledge and stuff, but he's being so engaging about it and such a performer about it. And that's something that, you know, as you and I are kind of performers now, I was soaking that up too and being like, ooh, what can I take? You know, what can I use to make my game better? And so that's so invaluable.
So from an entertainment standpoint, I really dug the dude.
Yeah.
His interview was off the charts funny. We laughed the entire time. Big Dust sticks out, was really hilariously funny,
Oh yeah.
and engaging, hilarious. Of course, Dino Sana had so many stories that, again, that was another one where we just let him go and he just told how many stories, and the next thing you know, the hour's up. And yeah, the dude was something else. And Mongoose did the same thing. Mongoose, Mike Mongoose, who a lot of local wrestlers know, his stories were off the hook, off the charts, of some of the people that he worked with over the years. And again, we appreciate everybody that was everybody on that list I just read. We appreciate you, each and every one of you, in a different way. Speaking of another one that we recently had, a memorable one, if you might add, the brand new 3WA High Impact Champion, Mikey Raw, says, I want to thank you guys for letting me be part of the Around the Turnbuckle family. No, thank you.
No, yeah, thank you, Mike. Thanks for sticking with us and letting us be part of your journey and what you're doing. We haven't recorded it yet, but I can't wait to sit down and call you and Greg's match. I've been rehearsing it, and I've been thinking about it, and I've been thinking about stuff I want to make sure that I hit during it. And I mean, you guys aren't the only ones I've done that with, but honestly, I think I've revisited what I want to say and what I need to say with you guys probably more than just about any other match, because the way I look at that, it's so big and there's so much going on there, and I just really want to make sure that I do it justice and I get it out there for the people.
And so, to that end, Professor, Mikey Raw sent us a special message, and it's right here.
Good evening. This is your High Impact Champion, Mikey Raw. Want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Want to thank Big Al and the Professor for letting me be part of Around the Turnbuckle. It's truly appreciated. Can't wait to see what's in store in 2023. Peace and blessings, everyone.
There he is, the High Impact Champion, Mikey Raw, donning the Eagles today with the big win, donning the Smith jersey. I love it.
He is a class act, no doubt.
Merry Christmas to you and your family, buddy, and you're welcome back here anytime. You know that, and we will see you soon. And yes, just like the Professor just said, I am excited to call that match as well. It was a phenomenal match, one of the matches of the year in 3WA. You guys tore the roof off the place, and you captured the 3WA High Impact Championship. Keith and I will be recording that the week after Christmas, so we can catch up, so you guys can have some content between now and January 28th, which is the next 3WA show.
Yep, we still got a whole show to do, all of the November show.
Yeah, we got to do Slamsgiving. Chris Vant is here. Merry Christmas, you guys. Merry Christmas to you.
Chris.
And thank you, because you are, without a doubt, our number one supporter. You are on every show, at least to say hi. Sometimes you hang out. Sometimes you ask the wrestlers questions. Legit awesome questions, brother. Mm-hmm. And I can't thank you enough for that. I know we go way back to Peaburg, but I mean, man, you're down in South Carolina doing your thing with the family. I'm just glad to know you. So thank you very much, Chris, for coming on here all the time. Even if it's to say hi, or if you hang out for a little bit and asking the wrestlers questions. We don't have a guest tonight, in case you're about to ask me that question. This is just a year in review of 2022. And the Professor and I just went through the list of just about everything and everybody we talked to. And now I'm going to reveal to Keith the top 5, starting with number 5, the top 5 most watched episodes of Around the Turnbuckle in 2022. And I'll let you have your comments about each one, starting with number 5. Are you ready, Professor?
Yeah, I'm ready. I did glance at this earlier when Al sent me all the metrics and stuff, and I didn't study it, but I did take a look at it.
So, number 5, we're going to go from the least viewed to the most viewed. So, number 5 in our top 5 episodes.
And to be fair, so nobody gets mad or heat or anything. I mean, Al, when we're talking about like top views, we're not talking about massive differences for the most part
No.
in this. It's huge. It's no more
It's
than I
pretty
think.
close, right?
Yeah,
It could be
I
one or
think the
two views
biggest.
off.
Yeah, I think the biggest disparity we saw was maybe 50 to 100 views. And
But this
here's the thing.
includes.
And
But this.
here's the thing. Yeah, just to piggyback on something I
Yeah.
know we talked about pre-show that we wanted to make sure we hammered in there. Keep
Yeah.
in mind, guys, the ones that did the best
Yeah.
were the ones that did the most promotion of themselves
Yes.
on social media, shared out the links, made sure to tell people, hey, I'm going to be
Tag people in
right.
your posts.
It's like I'm sure you get told by any promoter you're booked with, promote yourself,
Yes.
push things, sell tickets. I mean, yeah, don't be annoying about it and, say it so much that your relatives are like, I'm disowning you because I don't want to hear about this anymore. But,
Right.
you've got to, how will they come if they don't know where to go?
Okay, so the top 5 episodes of Around the Turnbuckle, number 5, going from 5 to 1, is the 3WA pre-show from June the 25th, a.k.a. the Dino impression. Do you recall this, Professor?
I recall seeing this because that was one of the shows that I couldn't make and feeling
Yeah, you were
incredibly
not on.
guilty.
You were not on it, but yes,
Yeah,
you
and
were not
feeling
there.
incredibly guilty that I had to work that day while you and your running buddies, and you still won't reveal to me how much they pay you to get all of this good press. And I'm sure they're
By the
paying
way,
you.
this
I
T-shirt
hope
is available. But
yes. Yeah, put
it is.
some money in our coffers. Come on.
Any color, any size, just send me an order, and it's available for $20.
Yeah.
And I have different colors for the Around the Turnbuckle part. But anyway, go ahead.
They save Al. Maybe if we can make the T-shirt business come off, he'll stop taking Hat Guy's dirty money, and we can bring him back to the light, folks. We can do it.
So,
All right,
speaking of this
aside.
episode, this was a professorless episode, but that's not why it made the top 5. What made the top 5 was the Dino impression. The reason why I call it the Dino impression is this was a pre-show leading into a match between JT Cage and Slayer. And the original Hat Guy decided to do an impression of Dino Sana, and it was the most spot-on impression I've ever heard in my life. If you don't believe me, I'm going to show it to you right now.
Of course you are.
I mean, it's a classic. Why would we not show it?
I'm shaking my head, folks. You can't see it, but I am.
He's shaking his head. Okay. As we go to the clip, here we go.
Wow.
I've known Dino for many, many years, so I know how to talk like him.
Well, I believe you nailed it. I closed my eyes for a second and thought, Santa was here. Oh.
What do you eyes like this? They look all the time.
Okay. Start slow clap. I guess she's applauding you in her own special way. And Dina says,
we're not coming then. How do you like that? We wouldn't go anyway. We're not fan favorites.
No, we want to find the land grab. No, we ain't taking no pictures. We're here to kick ass and collect checks.
There's one thing that you guys did not mention in the fact that, without Roadblock there, so you're saying that it's Malcolm King and JT Cage versus Slayer in a handicap match? Because what I'm hearing on social media
You're damn right. I got some people say that's cowardice. No, it's punishment for whining and crying to Dino. I don't care.
What happened?
What the hell out of Slayer, break out in the back, and he's going to get whooped too. And it's all Brickhouse fault. This is all Brickhouse doing. This is all his fault because he wants to throw on a super show Dino. So this is all because all the fans complain you're a supreme leader, Brickhouse. Right, you know. What do you want to do another impression? You did. Please. On the 25th of June,
There it is, Professor. There it is, Professor. What do you think?
Those guys are lucky that Dino has a thick skin.
Oh, man.
I think they would have been fired.
That was one of the best
one.
moments in our show's history. Admit it. That was so funny. I did everything I possibly could not to corpse. Thank God I was sitting on my front porch with sunglasses on because I was crying. I was laughing so hard. The show's over, and post-show, you know, most people don't notice, but Professor and I, after the show's over, we usually have a little bit of a conversation with the guest, thanking them and things like that. And after that show was over, I said to the hat guy and JT Cage, I said, "Can you do that just one more time?" And they did it for a second or two, but oh my God, I was dying. I said, "Man, you know how hard it was for me to be a straight face there." But yeah, that was number 5 on our list, Professor. That was the 3WA pre-show, which we do each and every, not each and every, but almost every Saturday at noon on the day of a 3WA show. And you never know what's going to happen or who might show up. So check those out. The next one that we do will be Saturday at noon on January the 28th. That's the next time that that 3WA is in Quakertown for New Year's Revolution, I believe.
Yes.
So that's number 5, Professor.
We're going to have a big announcement at that show.
Yes, big announcement concerning the future of 3WA. But number 4, Professor, in our list is the Dude. Now the Dude, Professor, I'll just what your impressions of the Dude or what you recall.
I tell you, the Dude, I have rarely seen a guy get over with an audience the way the Dude has. And the crazy thing about him is how little time he has actually spent doing this. Yeah. Because he connects with a crowd like you would not believe. And I love, I'm friends with him on Facebook, so I follow what he's doing. And I love that he is doing the right thing. He is getting out there. He's working in different places. He's getting that experience. He's not just happy, that, oh, they love me in Quakertown, so I'm just going to hang out there and, be the king of Quakertown or whatever. He's getting out there. He looked good. He's got a great look to him. His work is good. He is learning. He's got a great trainer. He's got a great infrastructure around him with all of that. I mean, sky's the limit for him, I really think.
How was it to be in the ring to announce again, says Chris. Chris, let me first say that it was a dream. I feel like I'm still dreaming about it. When I was asked to ring announce, I was under the impression that I was only doing one match. It wasn't until I got there when I knew for sure, because I had heard that I might be, or wasn't, or might be. I had heard that there was another ring announcer there, and I didn't know how many matches she was doing because it was a female ring announcer there. When I got there, it was, I'm doing the entire show. She's doing one match. She was a fan who always wanted to do it, and so they let her announce one of the matches. I did the rest of it. And let me tell you what, the whole experience, just like the first time, because this was only the second time I did a whole show. The first time was amazing just because it was the first time, but my nerves were shot. And this one, I was a little bit nervous, but not like the first time. I was nervous because I wanted to do them proud, and I was working on it. You can ask my daughters. My daughter Elizabeth has a play microphone that she sings into all the time. I'm literally standing down in the dining room practicing, just the welcome part, just the welcome to SWO Christmas Chaos 14. part over and over and over again, and they were loving that. And then they went with me. It was my wife, my daughters, and my son Connor. They were all in the front row. They had a blast. Everybody loved them. It was a great crowd, hot crowd. Kudos to everybody involved in the entire card. I mean, every wrestler involved, the referees involved, Zach Carlucci right before. Thank you, Zach Carlucci.
Oh God, Zach!
Right
Zach
before,
is the best.
Keith, you got to hear this. Right before the show, Zach
Mhm.
Carlucci came up to me and says, "You're going to be great." Like he
I
shook
love
my
Zach.
hand, grabbed both my hands. He's like, "You're going to be great." Thank you. And then he did a prayer. He did a prayer during the meeting. Right before the event, they all meet, the wrestlers all meet, and they talk about what's going to happen or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But then Zach did a prayer, and that was pretty freaking cool. I thought it was awesome. And so thank you to them, and thank you to Ace Dallas and Ken Andrews and everybody else, and Tim and everybody else that really helped me get ready and all that stuff. It was phenomenal. It was well organized. You guys put on a great show, and I've enjoyed every single time I've sat in that front row with the professor watching you guys, but now I enjoyed it even more being part of the show, and I can't wait to be there again. In case you haven't heard, Chris, I am going to be there again starting January 21st will be my next time ring announcing for SWO, and I can't wait for it. But thanks for that question. Back to the dude. All I got to say about the dude is he's a phenom, Professor. He's got all the tools to make it in this business. He's got great training. He's got, like you said, a great cast of characters around him, lots of support. He's got natural charisma, which cannot be taught. It cannot.
He has the it factor. He does.
Yeah, it cannot be taught. You add that to the fact that he, as he goes, he's developing his skill set. You add that to the fact that the guy is huge. He's like 6'2", 6'3", and tall and skinny. He's not big and lanky, fat.
Yeah.
He's like, you know what I mean? He's muscular, strong, and deceptively fast. These are all the things that WWE looks for. These are all the things that AEW looks for. So I don't know what he wants from the business. When we talked to him, he was just having a good time and happy to be here and completely, the dude. But the dude can do whatever the dude wants to do. And that is no smoke I'm blowing up his rear end, because I don't have to do it. The dude can do whatever he wants to do with this business, bar none. And I will never forget his interview. And I can't wait till the next time we talk to him, because it was an absolute treat. Absolute treat.
He's become one of my favorite guys to connect with when I'm down at 3WA to say hello to and see how he's doing and all of that stuff. He is a class act. I think he's got a drive that, you will not see, because he's always at least partially in gimmick, which I respect. Keeping that kayfabe going, that's what you need to do.
Old school. And I think that goes to Backbreakers. I think Backbreakers tries to install that a little bit. You need
it. You need it, I think. Especially with what he's doing, it's very easy to keep that up. And I think it's important to keep that up. And I do think he's one to watch. I think he's going to be somebody that, as he progresses here, he's going to be another one that I think we're going to be seeing nationally, and that we're going to have the privilege of saying, hey, I knew him when he was a rookie and he was just breaking in.
Like Joshua Dawkins, who's now Malik Blade on NXT.
Yep.
Yes. All right. So that was our number 4 most watched episode of 2022. Number 3 is a gentleman who I am absolutely in love with platonically, and that is Ace Dallas.
Love Ace.
Ace Dallas, the wrestler, is phenomenal. Here, his move sets for his size is amazing. You can tell he's well trained. You can tell he puts the work in. And if you guys have not seen that interview, go back to our YouTube channel and check out that interview. It's one of our most watched interviews. He was phenomenal. He talked a lot about his personal life, where we found out that he was a teacher. And we're talking about this guy teaches elementary school during the day, and then on the weekends he's wrestling. It's crazy. The guy loves this business so much. He just wants to make it better. And it's so cool that he has a new role in SWO because they can tap from that mind because he is very, very, very intelligent, and he can the way he's trying to get things going, the way he's trying to keep things organized back there, he's doing a phenomenal job. Plus, the man gave me my big shot last on Saturday night, and I can't thank him enough for that. I cannot thank him enough for that. And afterwards, he takes me in the corner and he tells me that I'm the man. No, man, you're the man. Okay, you're the man. I'm not. I'm nobody. I'm, he called me the man. Some people have earned that right way before, Ric Flair, Becky Lynch, and Ace Dallas, because you're the man, because you are doing it because you love it. You're doing it just to make this business better. You're doing it for all the right reasons. And that's why you're going to succeed. That's why SWO is going to succeed. That's why I'm only going to get better for you, because I want to be better for you. What I did Saturday night, everybody kept telling me how great it was. I watched it back. I watched back clips of it that my wife took with her phone camera. I was like, God damn it, I missed this, or God damn it, I missed that. You guys didn't even see any of that. So I'm my own self-critic, my own worst critic. So I'm just going to get better. And Merrick Miami, who's not on this top 5 list, but I also want to shout out to Merrick Miami, who took me aside afterwards and said, dude, that was phenomenal. You're only going to get better the more you do it. Thank you for that. And then the one who was the most shocking reaction when I went into the back when the show was over was Sage Matthews. Sage Matthews, I hope you watch this program, because I can't thank you enough for your words and then what you said to me in front of my family, and the kudos you gave me afterwards. I can't wait to call your next match. It was a privilege to call you versus Alan. I can't believe I got that chance to ring announce that match. It was the SWO match of the year. There was a "This is awesome" chant during that match, Keith, and I can't wait for you to see that. I know you missed it.
Oh God, yeah, I was gutted to not be able to watch them work.
It was
because
phenomenal. SWO fans,
knew it was going to be.
You guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I knew it was going to be fantastic. Guys, if you are not in the Pennsylvania area, if you have not seen Dog Nation either as a team or as singles work,
Right.
Do me a favor. When you're done watching this, go on YouTube and type Dog Nation in and watch everything. Those guys are amazing. They are fantastic heels. They are great baby faces.
Another
Sage Matthews,
that's signed.
Sage Matthews is Ricky Morton level over in SWO. Those women are ready to throw their panties in the ring for Sage Matthews.
Alan's got a following too. There was a hell of a pop when Alan retained the titles.
And I'm not dissing Alan, because I know I'll see him at a show somewhere and he'll go putting Sage over for Dog.
Yeah, exactly.
Alan is amazing too. But Sage kind of has that next level connection right now, I feel like, with the audience. And I mean, man, I can't wait. I know the booking committee in SWO. I know they are smart guys, smart people.
They are.
I can't wait to see when Sage Matthews does finally get that title, and we know at some point he is going to. Man, the roof is going to blow off wherever that building is that happens.
I mean,
that is going to be something special.
I had lots of motivation, and I'm fresh off of Saturday night to talk about Ace Dallas. But what do you recall about the interview with Ace Dallas and how you feel about Ace Dallas? Because I could talk about Ace Dallas all night.
Yeah, I mean, I love Ace. Ace is so well-spoken. He is so smart. His passion comes through in everything he does. He is just phenomenal heart. He is a great heel. He's come up with a great gimmick. that works so well and gets so much heat. That man is an asset to any locker room he's in, and anytime I've had a conversation with him, he always makes you feel like the most important person in the room that he's talking to at that moment.
Yeah.
And man, he is, I just can't say enough good things about Ace.
Chris Vance back with a question for you, the professor. What is your guys' favorite interview on here since you started?
For me, I mean, I think it's probably JT Cage, the real JT Cage, because I don't think I did better in an interview or I was as relaxed as I was with him, and we got so much out of that. I felt like we were sitting there at one point and just talking shop and inside stuff. It was just so good. It was great to kind of have a conversation with him that I usually have in Quakertown when I run into him. And, we rib each other a little bit at first, and it's a little bit of that guy stuff. And then it's just, isn't this cool? Oh, isn't this great? And we just kind of sit there like little kids, like, ooh, we get to do this. We get to be part of this. It's so much fun.
I mean, whenever I'm asked this question, I always go back to Stevie Ray because that was a thrill. But I gotta, I've thought about it long and hard, and not in no disrespect to Stevie Ray, because that was a thrill to just even talk to him as long as we did, and he was so cool, and it was just like talking to an old friend. It was really funny, and
he didn't treat us like marks or anything at all.
Yeah, and I re-released it recently, and I watched it again, and where we were then. I wish we could interview him now. Because we've come a long way too. But I went back and I watched Nikita Brezhnikov and some of the stories that he told from his book about like Nikolai Volkov and, kind of getting into the business and things like that. And his love for the old school, his love for, Bob Backlund and Bruno Sammartino and all that old school stuff that he posts all the time. That's a memorable one I'll never forget either. Nikita Brezhnikov. If you haven't seen that one, Chris, go back and look up Nikita Brezhnikov. There's a picture of him wearing basically like a Russian military uniform. Because he was at one time at the very end of Nikolai Volkov's career, his manager. So he was a good friend of Nikolai Volkov. Classic Johnny Potter, who is Professor's favorite person, says, I show up right on time. What's up, guys? So Classic Johnny Potter was part of that list I read on the onset, the beginning of the show. He was interviewed by us in 2022. It was interview number 2 with him. We had him before. But yeah, it was, towards the middle, I believe, somewhere in the summertime is when we had Classic Johnny Potter in part 2. And I know the next comment coming out of his mouth is, when's my part 3? You know how to get a hold of us.
We're getting our 2023 rounded out.
All right. So we got 7 minutes left. We have 2 more to go through. So number 2, most watched episodes of 2022 around the Turnbuckle, Shelby Waters. Shelby Waters was well received, both live. She had one of our biggest audiences live, because there's a difference between watching it live. And remember, these numbers reflect not just the views on Around the Turnbuckle YouTube, but also add that to the Round the Turnbuckle Facebook page views. You add those together, and also the Twitter views. So I go back and I make sure the numbers are right when I made this list. So Shelby Waters is, in fact, number 2, slightly under number 1, slightly by 5 views under number 1. Make no mistake about it. Shelby had a great following. Again, what Keith said before is true. She shared it many times leading into the interview. She tagged all her family and friends. She tagged, she had her help from her fellow Backbreakers alumni, such as Jack Molson and Nathaniel Cunningham and Donnie Bambino. They were all helping her promote her appearance on here. And she was a great interview. She was fun to talk to. a lot of people have watched it since, because initially the numbers were kind of normal, and then all of a sudden over the past few months they've really spiked up. So she obviously is getting a following. She's starting to bubble. She's relatively new in the business, Keith, as you know, but she's starting to bubble and get a following, and that's what you need. You need that going for you. But Shelby, thank you, because you were one of our top 5 most watched episodes of Around the Turnbuckle this year. Professor, what do you got to say about Shelby Waters?
Shelby is a great person. I think she's another one that if she sticks with it and she puts it together, I think she's going to go far. I think I was really impressed with her. She's a business owner. I need to boost the rate. I love Johnny. He's a dick. He's a dick, but he's our dick.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
But going back to Shelby, I mean, she's a business owner. She's got so much going on. It's insane to think of how young she is, and yet how together she really has her stuff. Like, I'm jealous. When I was her age, I was nowhere near.
She knows what she wants.
Put together and confident.
Yeah. She's driven. She knows what she wants. The only critique of her I have is she needs to work on everything, everything in the ring. Outside the ring, she's got charisma, natural charisma. She connects with the fans. The young girls especially love her character. And she's getting booked. She's doing everything else right. I think she just needs to work on the in-the-ring stuff, and that will come with time.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, she'll get there.
Yeah, she's young in the business, and I mean, she's got great people to work with, great veterans. All she's got to do is just, listen. Don't worry about, those typical indie pitfalls of, like, getting your shit in and worried about what you're going to do and how much you're going to do. Trust your opponent. Trust the veterans. Trust that they'll take care of you, and if they don't, hey, that's a lesson too. You know who not to work with in the future.
Now, Professor, before I reveal our number 1 most watched episode of Around the Turnbuckle this year, do you happen to wager a guest? And I'll give you a hint. It is not. It is a episode without a guest.
It's probably either going to be the WrestleMania show, or it's going to be potentially one of the history type shows, the Vince or the CM Punk show. So those would be my 3 thoughts, because those are kind of the big headline grabber shows that didn't have a specific guest.
This is why I call him the Professor. He hit the nail on the head on the very first shot. The Around the Turnbuckle WWE WrestleMania special. Now, my opinion is this. It's not because we were talking about WWE. It's because we were talking about WrestleMania. I think WrestleMania sells itself nowadays as an event. And if anybody's talking about WrestleMania, people tune in because they want to talk about WrestleMania. They get excited for it. They might not necessarily like the storylines. They might not necessarily like the directions. They might not necessarily like what's going on in WWE nowadays. And hell, they might not even watch Raw or SmackDown on a regular basis anymore. But when WrestleMania comes up for some reason, they just can't miss it. And I'm one of those people. When WrestleMania comes around, I get excited for it. I might not like the bookings. I might not like who's wrestling. I might not like the main event, whatever. But I watch it just out of pure curiosity because things always happen and they always put on a really great show. And this year's past WrestleMania, my expectations were really low and they exceeded them. I couldn't believe Stone Cold versus KO. I remember I was so scared that Stone Cold was going to be carted off or be done. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I had it in my head, like the anticipation of that match. I was like, man, all I want to happen out of that match is that Stone Cold Steve Austin walks out on his own power, because you know how he goes. He goes 150 miles an hour. He wants to, whoop ass. and just make it look as best he can. And what a great opponent in Kevin Owens to do that with. But going into that match this past year at WrestleMania, I was terrified for the welfare of a 50-plus-year-old Stone Cold Steve Austin, but he pulled it off, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and this is something that I hope people learn, and I harp on it all the time, is you do not have to do 700,000 things in that ring and kill yourself and do these insane video game sequences to get over. If you're over, you can do your greatest hits, and it will mean more than, all the Canadian destroyers in the world. If you've gotten your shit over, if you are connecting with that audience, and yes, we all can't be Steve Austin. Steve Austin is a once in several lifetimes kind of talent. He is just a guy that right place, right time, right guy, captured the zeitgeist of his era. And not only in wrestling, but in the world. I mean, only a handful of guys have ever been able to do that and transcend to that level that they become part of pop culture.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying, oh yeah, you can all go out and be Steve Austin. There's a manual you can do to do that. But if you are good at what you do and you are over and you establish yourself, you can have a situation where you can go to a show and go, I'm just going to do my greatest hits and I'm going to be safe, and everybody is going to go home happy, and everybody is going to feel like you justified the purchase of that ticket. You don't have to kill yourself to get over.
And I can't wait to do an Around the Turnbuckle for next year's WrestleMania, because no doubt it's going to be amazing. With all the rumors going on now, we'll get into it more in January when we do the Rumble preview, because we do that too. We try to do it for all 4 major original pay-per-views for WWE, but I know we skipped Survivor Series. We didn't do one for Survivor Series, and that's fine, because Survivor Series we were going to, and we were thinking about doing it, but it's, stuff happened and things happened, and we weren't ready and prepared for it. But it was, I enjoyed Survivor Series. I enjoyed the War Games and all that stuff. But anyway, back to the Mania special. Everybody was on there. A big shout out to, we had co-hosts that day. We had me, Mark Mest, and Jeff Christian on with us to talk about Mania and their passion, because you could hear our opinions all day long, but to hear it from those guys, they have different opinions on different things and different matches that maybe they were looking forward to and maybe we weren't necessarily looking forward to. Jeff has his opinions on wrestling. Keith has his opinions on wrestling. Me, Mark, being in the position that he was in, if not only former talent, but also now, what he has involved with now. And, people love to pick that man's mind in this area for wrestling. It's interesting to hear his aspect of it. He just loves it so much that I remember that during that WrestleMania special, he really was kind of, each match we were going through, he was kind of like looking forward to almost all of them. It was weird. There was maybe 1 or 2 that he really didn't give a damn about, but there was, for the most part, like 75 or 80% of the matches, he was like, you know what? I am interested to see what happens here or what happens there, blah, 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 the women's championship, yada, yada, yada. Like, I don't remember specifics, but I do remember that was a fun show, and Keith and I are going to keep doing that. That has been a tradition, because that's kind of, to me, those specials we do for Mania, Rumble, SummerSlam, etc., kind of go back to our roots before we started interviewing local talent. It kind of goes back to where we were, what we were going to do, which was talk about WWE on a weekly basis. But I'm so glad we don't do that, because we have so much more to talk about locally and so much more talent out there that needs this platform to come on and tell their story. And I'm so glad that that's the route that we took. But we will go back to it from time to time, especially with the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania.
If we had continued doing the show the way we first envisioned doing the show, I don't think we would have lasted a year, because I would have gotten mad. I would have said, I can't watch this.
Yeah.
I'm tired of the
I would
old
have forced
man.
them to watch it. I would
Yeah,
have
like
forced them, no,
I'm
you have
tired. Yeah, like I'm tired of the old man. I'm tired of this. I don't want to abuse myself on a weekly basis. People don't want to hear me be angry for an hour. They can go get Jim Cornette if they want somebody to be angry at modern wrestling for an hour or 2 hours. But I mean, now, the product's good, and going back to WrestleMania.
Yeah, Prince Piranha, you're only talking for an hour? Yeah.
Yeah.
We're only talking for an hour. I mean, we're about to wrap this up, but
Yeah.
Keith had one more thing to say about WrestleMania. But Piranha, thanks for last night. By the way, congratulations on the
Piranha's got gold again.
Regaining the SWO Uprising Championship from AK Willis. And it was a thrill and honor to be part of that show last night. Your match was ring announced by the special guest ring announcer, so I didn't get to announce it. However, Keith, while he was in the ring and he was still celebrating with the title, I received the mic back in my hand, and I'm thinking, I think he needs one more pop. So I popped that microphone on, and I said, ladies and gentlemen, once again, your new SWO Uprising Champion, Prince Piranha. I did roll the R's, Keith.
Nice.
He
gotta roll the R's.
Although he tells me he was in the moment, so he didn't even fucking hear it, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Whatever.
That's fine. It happens.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yes.
So go back to the Amazon with your goal. But what were you saying about WrestleMania?
Yeah, the thing about WrestleMania though is it's like the Super Bowl, because there are people that don't really like football that won't watch a single football game all year, but they'll watch the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Because the Super Bowl has become a cultural event. And I would say, especially now that, it's just getting the network or getting Peacock, even more so now that you're not having to spend $40, $50 for a pay-per-view, I think WrestleMania has, not to the same extent, because it's not free, the Super Bowl is free. I think it's become that touchstone for people, though, where they're gonna watch it. If they watch no other wrestling all year, we appreciate you too, Piranha. Hopefully, our team will get their crap together.
Yeah,
Speaking
let's
of
not
football,
talk about the Ravens at this time.
Right? It's just not. So mad. So mad. But I mean, it's one of those cultural events that, no matter what's on the card, no matter what's going on, people are going to check it out. That's going to be their one experience with wrestling for the year, because that is just wrestling. It's synonymous with wrestling. People have good memories of it, and they want to come back and they want to experience it. So, I mean, WrestleMania is transcendent, and there's a lot you can say about Vince McMahon right now, but man, he was right probably beyond his wildest dreams about WrestleMania.
Absolutely. Professor, we're going to wrap this up with reminding everyone that we are off for the next 2 Sundays, because the next 2 Sundays are Christmas Day and New Year's Day. So we hope that everybody has a happy and healthy holiday season, no matter what your religion is and no matter what holidays you celebrate. We hope everybody has a happy new year, and we will see each other. We see each other again Sunday, January 8th, where our special guest is the manager of Tommy Vex, Mary Elizabeth.
And by then I have some new equipment to set up, so hopefully that will all get set up. And
there we go.
We'll be back to more normal.
The professor bought a laptop, kids. His face will be back January 8th. Sorry, classic Johnny Potter.
Let's hope, because like I say, I'm hoping it was just an equipment issue, that it's not an internet issue or something, because if it's an internet issue, I don't know how I fix that.
So again, folks, one more time, we are not here next week. We are not here the week after. We will be back January 8th. Sunday, January 8th, we'll be talking all about that big event in Hamburg on January 7th, Professor. We'll talk about that, and maybe we'll snag a guest or two from there to maybe pop in or out. But but we will not take away from Mary Elizabeth will be here January 8th on the hot seat, 6:00 p.m. on this channel, YouTube channel. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. The professor and I will see you guys soon. Have a happy holidays. Have a happy new year. And we will see you guys January 8th on Around the Turnbuckle.
Yes, indeed. Enjoy and be safe, folks.
You think you know me?
Calculations are correct.